So the overarching takeaway here, as Manola mentioned in her introductory remarks, is that, and we predicted this in 2014, and it indeed rang true as we went through the data again, but the foreign aid from emerging donors increased by 47% from 2010 to 2015. And if you look at those, and these are bilateral donors only, but if you look at those numbers, the increases from 2010 to 2015, other than the case of South Africa, are all fairly significant. We'll start with Turkey. Obviously, from a geopolitical standpoint, Turkey has really been an important country due to the Syria conflict. And their total aid budget in 2017 was actually $8.1 billion. And that number has actually more than tripled in the last 5 years. The Turkish government does have an aid agency, and it's called the Turkish International Cooperation and Development Agency. But in 2016, about 90% of that ODA was channeled towards relief efforts in Syria. And that was even, as you can imagine, due to the catastrophic situation in Syria, was a dramatic increase. TICA, however, is operational in 140 countries, and some countries that are really not hotbeds of Western development finance necessarily, and places that are fairly difficult to work, including Somalia and Albania and Afghanistan. And you see Turkey's ambitions in foreign aid even responding to the latest humanitarian crisis in Myanmar.
Okay, and another question that our audience seems really interested in is the extent to which emerging donors' funding is actually accessible to NGOs or aid contractors. Maybe you could expand a little bit more on that?
Certainly. So I expect on the multilateral side, the Green Climate Fund, climate smart funding is development funding now. And there's certainly, the Green Climate Fund is committed to working with NGOs and working with civil society organizations. And that is all, as I mentioned, there are really two ways to access that money.